Right, so I found right here on the floor none other than Mr. Joe Grimes. Joe, man, how's it going?
Well, very good. It's good to be here. It's always fun to be around like-minded photographers and creatives, and so I'm having a blast.
This isn't your first time at the photography show, I take it?
It is at the photography show. What's funny is I've done just about everything on the planet, right? And back in the day, for about 10 years, I did 45 speaking events a year. So I've covered everything. There's a few things I hadn't been to, and this was one of them. Right. And so when Russell Brown from Adobe said, hey, you want to go to the photography show? I was like, oh, I've never been there. I've been to London many times, taught workshops here and stuff. But yeah, so this is a new experience for me.
How are you finding it?
I think it's great. I think I miss this kind of thing because back in the day before I was speaking and, I would go to the Photo Plus in New York or WPPI or whatever, some of those bigger shows. I thought it was fascinating going around and seeing what's new because there's always something. A lot of times it's the little company in the back corner that's introducing something that you don't see on the, I guess, advertised every day. So you see something, you're like, oh. And I think even back, say, 20 years ago, there was a lot more little teeny shot type. It's more of the bigger names now here. But there's a few of these that I've run across. I'm like, oh, that's a great product.
So you're here with Adobe for the entire duration of the show. You're doing a lot of talks and a lot of shoots. What is it that you're doing?
Well, so on stage with Adobe, I am doing 2 demos a day. It sort of has to do with the lighting, photography and lighting, strobing. I'm doing one this afternoon that's going to be looking at why would I choose continuous light versus a strobing scenario. I just did ND filter and high-speed sync this morning. Yesterday I did both the most beautiful light on the planet, which is cross light. I call it the most beautiful light on the planet. And then I also did a top-down light, so a beauty dish over the top. And so I'm just covering all the little, because you only get like 50, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to go pretty fast. And then on it depends on the scenario, I'll retouch an image at the end very quickly, retouch, like add a background, like a texture to a 50% gray, to show people how to do that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, I have to thank you as well because it was based on your tip, I think the last time you were on the show, that I now angle grind all of my lighting stands. And it saved my bacon many times.
Well, there's a lot of little tricks. In fact, I did a video, I would say 6 years ago on all my little teeny secret tips that I do to modify my gear. Yeah. And I probably should update that. But yeah, it's fun. There's little things you learn along the way. Because when you're outdoors or when you got an overhead light and it's got to stay in one position, if there's not a flat spot, it spins down. Yeah. The same thing with the wind. If you got a softbox up and it wants to spin on the stand, if you have a little flat spot, it helps keep it secure.
Everyone wonders why manufacturers don't actually make much.
Some do. You see the little heads that have a flat spot or whatever. And because people have complained about that. So, but yeah, the angle grinder, make it a little flat spot. It works really well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Joe, it's an absolute pleasure meeting you here at the show. I hope you have a great time for the next few days.
Well, thank you. It's good to be.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, then press here for the full episode in glorious Technicolor. Hey, and don't forget to subscribe.